All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome in. My name is Farzine Vasugian. This is the Chief Zone podcast. It is Wednesday, June the 11th. Hope you're all having a great start to your summer. I believe it's summer for most places across the country. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of weird how summer starts different times, different areas, but nonetheless, I think the majority of you guys are in the summertime. Kids are out of school. A lot of people able to get some time off, go on vacations, all that good stuff. Hope you're all having a great start to your summer. Appreciate you guys joining me on this episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. This is going to be a good one here as we've got a lot to discuss. Breaking news about, let's see, 4 hours ago. The Missouri House approved of the stadium funding bill. That is now going to go to the governor's desk. What happens after that? That is up to the teams. We'll discuss that. We will also discuss some of the rumblings and news around Chiefs OTAs, and specifically the offensive line. I think that is something that we've got to discuss right now because it feels like when you talk about the Chiefs offense, everything circles back to the Chiefs offensive line. So we'll touch on the Chiefs offensive line, specifically Josh Simmons, Kingsley Suamataia. What are the expectations and what is going to happen? What is the standard for this offensive line going forward? We'll get into that. Talk a little bit about that, the rest of the offensive line as a whole. Also, the executive director of the Duran Cherry Foundation, Erin Quador, will be joining us later on, and also some non-Chiefs news I want to get into regarding some rookie QB snaps. That's kind of being made a big deal of right now. A TikTok trend that one NFL player took part in. This was actually kind of funny, if I'm being honest. And also drama in Cincinnati. Boy, who knew? That city is full of drama, but we'll get into that. A lot to talk about here on this episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. Appreciate you all watching live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in on those social media platforms. And for all of you listening to the archive version afterwards, appreciate you guys as well. Hey, if you guys can, please give this a like, share it, let your friends know about the podcast that we are live right now. So always helps out when you guys share the content, let everyone know about the podcast, especially as we are live. All right, let's get right into it here. As the breaking news came in a couple of hours ago, the Missouri House has passed a stadium funding bill. This was a vote of 90 to 58. I believe 82 was the magic number I saw from Channel 41. So it has passed. Obviously not unanimous or even close to unanimous. Both the Senate vote and the House vote, but nonetheless, it did pass. They got enough. They got what they needed. And now what happens is this will land on the bill will land on the governor's desk. All he has to do is sign it. Pretty simple, straightforward. This is what the governor wanted. So, I mean, unless the governor has a crazy change of heart, which is not going to happen, he is going to sign this, and the state of Missouri will officially make their offer to the Chiefs and the Royals. And a big part of that is basically 50% willing to offer half of the funding for renovations or a new stadium. Obviously, renovations for the Chiefs, at least that's what's expected, and also a new stadium for the Royals. Again, this doesn't mean that the two teams are officially staying. This is simply that the offer will be official, and the Chiefs and the Royals can consider it. Another thing that comes with this offer is that, and Governor Mike Kehoe mentioned this on KCMO Talk Radio, that the teams will be able to keep some of the payroll and sales tax that they make. That is part of the offer. The Chiefs did issue a statement shortly after this saying that they're grateful to the governor and the Missouri legislator for their vote. Added that there is, quote, still work to be done, end quote, and also added that this allows the Chiefs to, quote, continue exploring potential options to consider remaining in Missouri. I found that pretty interesting, and maybe I'm reading into this more than I should. I don't know what exploring potential options to consider remaining in Missouri means. I mean, maybe that's just their way of saying, yeah, staying at Arrowhead. Maybe they are looking at other options in Missouri that we just have not heard about. Because all we've heard is stay in Missouri, which means you're renovating Arrowhead, or move to Kansas, where you're going to get a dome by the Legends. That's what we've been told this whole time. There's never been any talks about the Chiefs getting a new stadium downtown or a dome to replace Kauffman. It's only been renovate Arrowhead at Missouri, if the Chiefs choose to stay in Missouri. Which leads me to my next point. What is next? Well, they have the Kansas offer, and I went over that just a moment ago, and I also mentioned Missouri's offer. Both states have officially made an offer. Kansas has had its offer for quite some time now. The state of Missouri it's not official yet, but it's at the 1 yard line. Okay. I mean, it's first and inches, first and goal, first and inches, essentially, to the end zone. The governor just needs to sign it. So I'm going to go ahead and call it official at this point. It's really either A, renovate Arrowhead, which the Chiefs lobbyist, Rich Abushan, I believe is how you say his name, said it's going to be $1.15 billion. We still have no idea why the price of the renovation went up $350 million. And no, it's definitely not inflation. They can say it's inflation, but inflation did not go up 30%. So, and of course, the elected senators here didn't even bother asking why the price of that went up. But nonetheless, that's the Chiefs' price tag for renovations. The Chiefs would spend less money on a stadium project if they stayed in Missouri. Now, they would not own it. Governor Mike Kehoe made it very clear that the county would still own Arrowhead Stadium. Now, the way it all kind of works out is, even though the county owns it, to my understanding, from people who I've talked to, the Chiefs do have, the Hunt family, the Chiefs organization, they do have a lot of freedom and flexibility when it comes to certain projects, renovations that they do and whatnot. This is obviously a big renovation project that they were proposing 15, 16, 17 months ago, whenever that February date was. And obviously it was turned down 15 months ago. But now it seems like the state will be funding all of that. And keep in mind, this is before any kind of potential county or city involvement here, though Mayor Quinton Lucas said last week on KCMO Talk Radio that this vote alone would be enough to keep the Chiefs and Royals in Kansas City, Missouri. So would there be any involvement from county or city? And Mayor Quinton Lucas made it sound like that would not be the case. But we'll have to see. You know what a lot of people are saying too about staying in Missouri here? I'm seeing a lot of people say build a retractable roof or to do a rolling roof. I've seen those mentioned here. Let me just say this about a retractable roof, because I'm not a designer or an architect or anything like that. To my understanding, I mean, the way Arrowhead is built, I don't know if you can just build, you can't just build a retractable roof on top of that. I don't think it works like that necessarily. I could be wrong, but I don't know how you would add a retractable roof to Arrowhead Stadium. I mean, if you want a retractable roof of some sort, it would have to be a brand new stadium. It would have to be a dome, essentially. And I'm trying to get the picture of that proposed rolling roof that was turned down years ago. If I can get the right picture for it. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, there we go. We got it. So this is what the rolling roof was back in, I think it was 05, 06, around that time, and it was turned down by Jackson County voters. That is the proposed rolling roof from about 2 decades ago, and it was turned down. Sure, I guess you could go back to this. It'd be a little weird with just one stadium there, because the purpose of this was to leave it in the middle, like you see it in this model here. I also love how Arrowhead is half empty in the upper deck. But then you would shift it over to Kauffman if Kauffman needed it to avoid rain or whatever. Then you would shift it over to Arrowhead if there was a game and it could block out the rain. The problem with the rolling roof is it's not indoors. It's just a roof that goes above the stadiums. You still feel the cold, the element of the outdoors. I mean, listen, I'm hearing people say, oh, well, football should be played outdoors. Keep it at Arrowhead. Then what's the purpose of a rolling roof to keep out the rain and the snow? But still, I mean, you're still feeling the temperature outside. I don't know. And honestly, like, just looking at this right now, the rolling roof just looks silly. So I don't know. I suppose they can always go back to the rolling roof idea. But as far as I know, the Chiefs just want to focus on renovating Arrowhead. I will say this, because of the increased price tag, I hope they came up with a new renovation plan, because I was not a fan of the renovation plans that they proposed last year. I mean, what was so great about it? The activity zone, that I think is awesome. To replace Kauffman. I hope if they stay at Arrowhead, I hope they have that. More parking certainly would not hurt, but if you want to turn that into an activity zone, hey, not the worst idea either. But what were the other things? A new video board? What's wrong with the video board they have now? The other things they propose on there, VIP entrances. I mean, who was that for? Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and all of their buddies from Hollywood? Like, I don't know. I don't care about VIP entrances. And then the other one, so at Allegiant Stadium, there's an area called the Wynn Nightclubs. I don't remember the exact name, but it's basically like a bar seating type of area. And they're wanting to remove some of these seats inside Arrowhead and put some tables, like bar stools, basically. I mean, for all of you people who've been commenting saying don't get rid of Arrowhead, the mystique, the history, all that stuff, well, then you better start telling the Chiefs organization that, because they're, according to last year's proposal, assuming that's going to come up again, they want to put some of those bar type of stool table areas. I don't know. It just looks weird even describing. Sounds weird, looks weird. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. I sure as hell hope if they're going to come up with a new renovation plan, I hope they got rid of that idea. Listen, you already got rid of seats for the drum deck, and I'm not, tripping over that. I mean, it's the upper deck. It's okay. All right. You didn't remove too many seats for that. Because Arrowhead used to be 80,000 at one point, or 79,000 something. I don't remember the exact number. Now that's dropped to 70,000. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of removing seats for those kinds of things. I mean, if you really want fancy seating and that kind of stuff, either go to an actual bar or be willing to spend extra money at the at one of the suites at Arrowhead. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. There is an actual sports bar type of area. Now, to my understanding, that's only for season ticket holders, but that's an option as well. I mean, I don't know what the price of this is going to be. I suppose we won't find out anytime soon. The renovations would not be anytime soon either, because they're going to have the FIFA World Cup. It's exactly a year from now is when it's going to start. And they made it clear that the renovations would not begin until 2027 or 2028, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, you would have to do it after the 2026 season. Then you do it the calendar year of 2027. Yeah, TJ says if you want a bar atmosphere, go to a bar. Yeah, that's what I just said. And listen, I'm not knocking on some of like the way Allegiant Stadium built theirs. I think it looks nice. I know Dallas has something kind of similar to that. Listen, here's my thing. I would never go to a stadium to sit at like a lounge area to watch a game, because a lot of times the view isn't the greatest and you're watching it through a TV anyway. Like, okay, you know that area, the tunnel across from the Chiefs locker room, and it's right by the Chiefs press conference room? There's like a bar area there. And I'm like, why would you go there? Because you're watching the game through TV. The only bonus is you'll get a few high fives from the players going in and out of the locker room. I mean, I'm not spending a whole lot of money just to get high fives and then watch the entire game on a screen. I don't know. The renovation plan last year was not good, because a lot of people are saying the Chiefs were tied in with the Royals. I mean, the Royals, I know this is a Chiefs podcast, but I think what the Royals are going to do is still very important here. The Royals, they changed up their plans in the middle of, with the vote being a couple of weeks away. And people feel like the Royals kind of dragged down the Chiefs with them. Listen, I still feel like if the Chiefs and the Royals were separate, the Chiefs still would have been turned down. I mean, that for $800 million, now it's going to be what, 1.15 billion. What have I said this entire time? By the way, I love when people from Kansas are accusing me of wanting it in Missouri, and people in Missouri are accusing me of wanting it in Kansas. I love that, man. I mean, it's also the same people who can't decide what side of the political aisle I'm from. Spoiler alert, neither. People always accuse me of having a stance that I've never had before. I love it. It's great. But as far as my stance on this stadium thing for the Chiefs specifically, I have said this entire time, and I'll say this for the Royals too. I don't care where they go as long as it's in the Kansas City area. If you're going to stay on the Missouri side, I guess your only option is really either renovate the stadium or build a dome next to Arrowhead, where Kaufman will eventually formerly be. That's what I want. Not only do I want them to stay in the Kansas City area, I want them to do it right. If the Chiefs are going to spend $800 million or $1.15 billion, do it right. I mean, if you're going to spend that much money, $1.15 billion, I mean, why not spend another $1.15 billion to build a new stadium? Because here's the thing. Say what we want about Arrowhead and its history and all that stuff. The Chiefs are going to get a new stadium one day. And maybe that day will not be sometime in 2031. It might be 50 years later in 2081, when a lot of us are not going to be around. But the Chiefs are going to get a new stadium one day. Every NFL team will one day move indoors. I know Buffalo's getting a brand new stadium. Would not shock me 50, 60, 70 years down the line, when that thing starts to get old, that they go to an indoor stadium. Listen, say what you want about football and how it should be played indoors. We have more than a third of NFL stadiums that are indoors right now. And then by 2031, whether the Chiefs decide to get a dome or not, more than half the stadiums will be indoors. And I think there are a couple of teams like Chicago and Cincinnati, they're still trying to figure out what they want to do. I would not be surprised if those two teams end up getting an indoor stadium by 2030, 2031, 2032, kind of right around the same time when the Chiefs could potentially get a new stadium if they go that route. Do renovations to Arrowhead include practice facilities? It better, because the Chiefs have been getting bad grades about their locker room. When you see the locker room grade, they're not grading the stadium locker room. The Chiefs only use the stadium locker room for 8 or 9 regular season games, depending how many home games they have, 1 or 2 preseason games, and a couple postseason games. The Chiefs only use the stadium Arrowhead locker room, give or take 10, 11, 12 times a year. And then, there are other things. Yeah, there are other things that the players were not happy about, and they gave them bad grades. Bob's not a fan of the renovation plan. Yeah, I just didn't like it at all. I don't know to what extent these renovations will go. Is it just a stadium? Will they also try to upgrade the practice facility? That practice facility is not necessarily, it's not new, but it's not old either. I think they could have done some things better. Now, one thing that surprises me, because I've been there before, the Chiefs, they use the media workroom as a press conference room. They used to have a press conference room somewhere in there. I remember the photos and pictures when Alex Smith was being introduced and Eric Fisher. I mean, that was kind of a surprise that they've moved away from that. They definitely need a better media room area. I mean, that's just my opinion, but it's hard to explain if you haven't been there, but I've been there. I kind of get it. It's not a, it could be better for the camera operator, especially if there's some massive news where you need to be able to fit more media in. They definitely need a better media room for press conferences. Workroom, that's fine as a workroom, but get a actual press conference room. I mean, they have that at Arrowhead Stadium for a reason. Obviously, the Kansas part of it, if they choose to go to Kansas, that comes with the opportunity of major events such as the Super Bowl, Final Four, WWE PLEs, college bowl games. I know the Super Bowl could be a one-time thing, and it'd be once maybe every 10 to 15 years. I get that. Because I think they would definitely have stadiums like AT&T Stadium, SoFi, Allegiant in active rotation, and rightfully so. But I think Arrowhead would still get a second Super Bowl somewhere down the line. They would not just get one and only one. I will say this. I think one thing that Arrowhead could get if they build a new stadium, that is, and I know I called it Arrowhead. I don't know what it would be called, but I think there's a serious possibility of getting a college bowl game every year. Now, I don't know if you would just take one of the college bowl games you already have and just move it permanently to this new Arrowhead. I mean, the Heart of America Bowl sponsored by, I don't know, Heartlands, whatever you can come up with. Because there's some revenue to be made from a college bowl game. Now, the bigger of a game it is, the more significance it has, the better, obviously, the more revenue you'll make from it. But I certainly think that possibility is there for you. I think that's what you would get a lot of if you build a new stadium. Final Fours. Listen, I would think that a Final Four would be an active rotation with Kansas City. It's in the middle of the country. You can probably put in an active rotation every 6, 7, 8 years. And it would be a perfect spot. Listen, if Kemper Arena could get a Final Four, this new indoor stadium could certainly do that. And obviously, events like WrestleMania, the Final Four, they're no longer in arenas like a Madison Square Garden or a Kemper Arena. Not that WrestleMania was ever in Kemper Arena. But these major events are now in stadiums like AT&T Stadium, Allegiant Stadium, SoFi, and whatnot. And I think Kansas City could be an active rotation for a Final Four, and also get a college bowl game every year. So certainly you can make a lot of business from that. Yeah, you would spend more if you're Clark Hunt, but you would also be able to make more in the long run. And obviously, a Super Bowl would certainly help pay off a lot of what you paid for this new stadium. So those are the options of going to Missouri, or staying in Missouri rather, and then going to Arrowhead. Layla says they definitely need a new stadium with a retractable roof for sure. Yeah, that's ideal, and that would cost a lot more, I'm sure. Because here's the thing, no matter what you pick, you're going to lose something. If you get a dome with a retractable roof, well, what's the big part about the Arrowhead experience? It's a flyover during the national anthem. I always chuckle in the Super Bowl when they do the national anthem and they have a flyover. I'm like, why? It's literally an indoor stadium. The only people who saw it are the people on TV. So I think if you want to build a dome, have a retractable roof because, hey, if the weather's great, open up that roof. If it's bad, close it. Maybe you just leave it open for the flyover. I don't know, and then you move on and play football. And like I said, this could come with a lot of big events, and I think that would certainly be something that they could do. It's just that for whatever reason, Missouri's not discussing a new stadium. They only want to renovate. Yeah, you still be a fan. I don't understand the people that would refuse to. I've seen people threaten their fandom. They would never watch the NFL ever again. Okay. All right. I mean, seriously, what are you going to do on Sundays? Watch reruns of the Golden Girls? Like, come on. I always think it's funny when people are like, oh, if they move 20 minutes away, I refuse to ever be a fan again. Okay. All right. Go root for the Bengals, I guess. I mean, they could use some fans right now. But yeah, that's the latest with the stadium matter. It essentially comes down to which offer the Chiefs and the Royals want to accept. So there you have it. We'll know a lot in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. All right, let's talk some actual Chiefs football now and talk about the Chiefs offensive line here with Josh Simmons back practicing for the Chiefs. I say back practicing, but this is his first time practicing with the Chiefs. Back for himself. He's back on the practice field after suffering an injury last year in college football. I've been posting about the Chiefs, which I always do. And I've talked about the Chiefs wide receiver trio with Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and we know Rice has a pending suspension kind of looming over his head. We'll see the final on that maybe in a month or two. You also have these options at running back with Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell. You also went out there and drafted Brashad Smith, one of the fastest running backs at the scouting combine this year. Travis Kelce, maybe not statistically, but I think Travis Kelce could have more involvement because if the wide receivers stay healthy this year, it definitely will take some pressure off of his shoulders, 100%. Noah Gray, I think, could get more involved as well. But I've seen a lot of you guys' comments here anytime I talk about these things, and everyone says yes, but the offensive line has to be good. And that's certainly no lie there. The 2 Super Bowls the Chiefs have lost. What is a majority of that? 95% of that been due to bad offensive line play. Now, the first one, you just had a banged up offensive line going. You had a JV offensive line going into the Super Bowl. This one, I mean, okay, yes, there was a shift, but it was getting you through. It's just the Eagles, they managed to expose Joe Thuney's weakness at left tackle and Mike Caliendo's experience better than any other team did. All this talk about wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, and Patrick Mahomes having a better year this year than he had the last 2 years, all of that surrounds the offensive line. If the offensive line is not good, then the rest of that unit doesn't matter. And it would be a shame because the Chiefs do have a lot of talent here. Now, they don't have, a Tyreek Hill type of player, like a standout number 1 type of receiver, a Dwayne Bowe type of wide receiver right now. But I think they've got a lot of speed that they can use. I mentioned the trio of Rice, who looked like he was going to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL last year. Maybe he can return to that form whenever he returns to the field. When I say returns to the field, I know he's practicing, but I'm talking about on the playing field, because we don't know with his suspension quite yet what's going to happen. Xavier Worthy, he got better and better as the season went on, kind of like Rice his rookie year. Hollywood Brown, listen, whenever someone returns from an injury after missing, multiple months, they're never 100% when they come back. Hollywood's had a full off season now, didn't play much last year. Is there a possibility we can finally see Hollywood in that form? Because last year, all off season, especially after Worthy got drafted, all of that hype about the wide receiver trio was talked about for days, weeks, months, all the way leading up to training camp and that first preseason game. And unfortunately, that very first snap, that's when it all unfortunately got turned down when Hollywood had that crazy injury. on the first snap of the game on a hit that was pretty, uh, very, very innocent. I mean, it wasn't like it was anything terrible. Yeah, the Rice situation depends on the legal matter. So this is very similar to the Alvin Kamara situation, where it was clear what he did, but because of the lawsuit, the league decided to wait on that, and they waited for the lawsuit to conclude. Then the league came in with their decision. By the way, what did Alvin Kamara get for his suspension? It wasn't a big, it was 3 games. And this one was a very serious physical altercation. Like, we're talking, a dude who beat the shit out of someone. Yeah, this was at a local nightclub, punching a man approximately 8 times, according to articles here. So if he got 3 games for that, I mean, listen, I don't think Rice is going to get a hefty suspension. Maybe, in first glance, yeah, that was the case. But I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when they see it's going to be I've been saying 2 to 4 games. At first, when this happened last March, I thought, man, this could be a half season suspension. Trust me, this is going to turn into a 2 to 4 game suspension. And there are going to be a lot of people outside of Kansas City who are not going to be happy about that. But neither here nor there. I digress. The whole thing with the offensive line here is Patrick Mahomes has not had a good offensive tackle since they cut Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. And that was after the 2020 season. 2021, your offensive tackles were Orlando Brown and... boy, who was the right tackle? Lucas Niang. I liked Lucas Niang, but he got hurt. And when he came back, he never really started a game again for the Chiefs, which I was bummed out to see, because I wanted to see him try to fight to get his right tackle spot back, but he never did. And then in 2022, it was Orlando Brown and Andrew Wiley. They were 1-2 in pressures allowed that year. And people wondered, okay, is it the way Patrick Mahomes runs around? Well, not really, because Orlando Brown led the league in pressures the following year with a different team, the Bengals. Then they go and they get Donovan Smith. That doesn't work. They signed Jawan Taylor. He's had good moments as a pass blocker, but commits a lot of penalties. They draft Kingsley Suamata-Ia, doesn't work. They drafted Wanya Morris the year before. They used him more this past year, didn't work. They go and get DJ Humphries off the street, didn't work either. Josh Simmons seems to be the guy that a lot of people are hoping will finally solve all of the left tackle woes. And the reason you feel confident about this is that he was a first-round pick for the Chiefs, or is a first-round pick for the Chiefs, I should say, and that this is somebody who could have been a top 10 pick had it not been for that injury. And, not that you ever want to see someone hurt, but I guess for Kansas City, and I think Brett Veach kind of alluded to this, it just happened to work out in Kansas City's favor that because of what happened, it brought him to Kansas City all the way to the 32nd pick. He was available at 31, but Philadelphia really wanted to move up one spot because another team, I guess, was trying to negotiate with the Chiefs and ended up drafting him 32nd. I have a lot of confidence in Josh Simmons. Kingsley Suamata-Ia, I've gone over this before, and now maybe I'll go over this some other time, not on tonight's podcast, but Kingsley Suamata-Ia, as far as his size goes, he matches the height and weight of a lot of other left and some right guards that have played for the Chiefs in the last 2 decades. So I have a lot of confidence that he'll be better as a left guard than a left tackle. We'll see. Time will tell on that one. I mean, if there's one player I'm watching the most very closely this preseason, it is Kingsley Suamata-Ia. Creed Humphrey, we don't need to go over that. Trey Smith, not at practice right now, but he'll be there. Listen, he signed his deal, and they have until July 15th to figure out a long-term deal. If not, he'll play through the tag this year as the highest paid right guard, and they'll revisit things next offseason. Hopefully they can figure something out, because the Chiefs do need Trey Smith. And then you have Juwan Taylor at right tackle. As far as offensive line depth, you have Jalen Moore, who the Chiefs have had nothing but good things to say about him. And I suppose Jalen Moore is someone who is probably on speed dial in case Josh Simmons struggles. That would not be ideal. If Juwan Taylor is struggling, what's stopping the Chiefs from using Jalen Moore as a right tackle? Wanye Morris, granted, it's not good experience, but he has some experience at left tackle. That could be an option for the Chiefs at right tackle. You also have Chuck Godric, Ethan Driscoll, guys who've been on the team for a couple of years. Those guys could also get some consideration as well if Juwan Taylor gets to a point where he's struggling way too much. As far as interior offensive line depth, you have Mike Caliendo, who started 3 games in the regular season at left guard when they made that shift with Tooney, 3 more in the playoffs. Listen, I liked Caliendo in the regular season, but I thought him and Tooney took steps back. I felt like they got worse and worse each game as the playoffs went on. Obviously, the Super Bowl was just a disaster. But he's got some experience at left guard. That's part of the reason why they brought him back. You have Hunter Norzad. I like Hunter Norzad a lot. I think his snaps need some work. But as a pass blocker, Hunter Norzad is a phenomenal interior offensive lineman. You also have CJ Hansen, who you drafted last year on day 3, that I know the Chiefs really like. So they have some options in case of an injury. God forbid. You definitely don't want to see that. But I think they've got a good, versatile offensive lineman in Hunter Norzad if something were to happen. I'll say this. If Kingsley Suamataia is struggling a lot, and if they're not confident in Mike Caliendo, I hope Hunter Norzad gets some opportunity. I know I'm the only one calling for this, but that Denver game, man, he looked really good in that one. I know that was a game where the Chiefs got their ass kicked, and no one cares because the Chiefs had nothing to play for. They had the number 1 seed locked up. There was no reason to put any of their starters out there. It was a good chance to see what you had with your depth. And Hunter Norzad was one of the very, very few players who actually played well in that Week 18 game against Denver. And keep in mind, that's a Denver team that was in playoff mode. They were fighting for a playoff spot, and they had a defense that led the league in sacks last year. So that was the perfect test for Hunter Norzad. I thought he stepped up when he needed to. So those are just my thoughts there. But yeah, that offensive line, listen, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, we know that's a great center right guard group right there. Maybe the best center and right guard in the NFL. Man, not maybe. I mean, they are. I think Josh Simmons will be a good left tackle. I do. So the 2 big question marks, can Juwan Taylor figure it out at right tackle? And can Kingsley Suamataia make the most of his second chance, really, as a left guard instead of a left tackle? I think the weakest link on this offensive line will be Juwan Taylor. And if that's the case, I think Patrick Mahomes can live with that and manage. It's not ideal, but it's certainly better than a bad left tackle. The right tackle is not Patrick Mahomes' blind spot. It's not. So Patrick Mahomes, I mean, if Juwan Taylor gets beat, he can work around that, and he's done it many times before. And I really hope Kansas City utilizes a blocking tight end more. And I don't know if Jared Wiley can be a Jason Dunn type of blocking tight end. And I know Wiley's still injured right now, so they're still kind of waiting to see what he's going to look like when he comes back, which probably won't be until training camp. They also went and got Kevin Fulch today from free agency. I mean, is that a guy that they maybe look at, especially if Wiley's injury is more severe than expected? Maybe he's going to be out longer than expected. Those are some things that the Chiefs really need to consider. Because I've been calling this for a long time, man. Like, put a blocking tight end next to the tackles. Listen, I'm not saying put 2 blocking tight ends because then you really limit the number of available pass catchers there. I remember when the Chiefs and Bengals played in week 2 because their offensive line wasn't good either. The Bengals ran this weird play against the Chiefs where their running back and their tight end was lined up next to Joe Burrow in shotgun, and they were pass blockers. Burrow only had 3 receivers to work with, and they all went down the field. Everybody was double, triple covered. Made no sense. And I'm not saying that, listen, maybe the Chiefs do draw up a play like that. I mean, listen, you might have 2 pass blockers in like a goal line situation, but middle of the field or even in your own territory going down the field, yeah, that's just weird. If you're going to have two pass blockers, then you got to have a better play call than that. But the Chiefs, they hardly use a pass blocking tight end. Unfortunately, the one against the Raiders in the Black Friday game, Kelsey just completely whiffed on one of the blocks, and Worthy was wide open, but Mahomes was pressured, and that forced him to overthrow Worthy in that one. I think if Kelsey just makes an effort and throws a block there, Mahomes hits Worthy for a game-sealing touchdown there. What if Simmons is ready to go at left tackle and Moore plays left guard? Dustin's asking. You stumped me on that one. I've never really thought of this. By the way, we got some good comments here, so I'll get to all of them right now. But Dustin, you got me on this one here. Could has Jalen Moore ever played left guard? I'll look it up right now as I'm trying to look this up on Pro Football Focus, because they do a good job of telling how many snaps each offensive lineman plays at which specific position here. He played, let's see. He's played mostly left tackle when filling in for Trent Williams in his career. He's never played left guard, never played center or right guard. He's played some right tackle. That was in 2021. He played right tackle and left tackle in 2021, but it was mostly left tackle. He played 90 snaps at left tackle, 55 at right tackle, and then the number of pass blocking snaps he had more and more as his career went on. They only went up. He did play some tight end as an eligible receiver coming in. So there's that to consider as well. The Chiefs do like him, though. I remember Brett Veach in his press conference before the draft. He said that the Chiefs really did like Jalen Moore when he was coming out of college, when he was coming out of Western Michigan, and that is somebody that they were considering for the longest time. So they've always had an eye on it. And listen, whenever you like someone coming out of the draft, if they end up getting drafted elsewhere, teams do keep a close eye on those players just to see how they do, because maybe they connect with them whenever they become a free agent, just like Jalen Moore. So there's your answer to that. I don't think he would play left guard, Dustin. So that answers your question there. They would have to use probably Mike Caliendo, maybe Hunter Norzad, like I was saying earlier, but those would be your options if Kingsley is struggling. I feel like Taylor cost us too many times with penalties. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like 3rd and 2 turned into 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7 would turn into 3rd and 12. Those never help. Those absolutely never help. And listen, the thing with Jawan Taylor is the way he would time those snaps. He did that in Jacksonville his entire career, and he was doing it in his first year with the Chiefs, which was last year. He did that exact same thing in the preseason, but it was a big deal in that week 1 game against Detroit. It was never a big deal in Jacksonville. It was never a big deal in the preseason, but it was a big deal in week 1, the season opener, banner night against Detroit. That's when it was a big deal. And I don't know. You tell me. How does that work? Missouri is offering, this is a good point by David. Missouri is offering the Chiefs the best deal for sure. I don't agree with that. I wonder what is holding Clark Hunt back on a decision. Well, the opposite has been said about Kansas. The same thing has been said, but the other way around for Kansas, because the Senators, when they were debating last week, they said that if the Chiefs really wanted to leave for Kansas, they would have done it by now. That's not quite why. That's not why they haven't left. They haven't left because they don't want to rush into a decision here, and they know they have time. Now, time is running out on the Kansas side because they don't anticipate on renewing the star bonds. That could always change, but Kansas has made it clear up to this point that they don't plan to extend the star bond deadline, which is going to be June the 30th. And by the way, I said this last week. I said that, is there going to be a situation where Kansas comes up with a counteroffer? I have spoken to a source within the Kansas legislature, and I've been told Kansas does not plan to come up with a counteroffer. Now, before I got that source, I was on here on this podcast last Thursday saying, could they up the ante? And a lot of you guys were saying that today after Missouri, the Missouri House basically finalized this. It'll be official when the governor signs it, but there's nothing that's going to hold the governor back from doing that. So I'm already considering it official. So I don't really know. I mean, listen, Clark Hunt and the Chiefs and the Royals with John Sherman, they were going to take their time with this. But again, I think we're going to have our answers pretty soon. Could be tomorrow, could be 2.5 weeks, could be June the 30th. But we will get an answer very soon on what they're going to do at the stadium. It's taken a long time, I get it, but this has ramped up quite a lot in the last 3 to 4 weeks. On a question off topic, is that an Ari sign Jason Mask? It's not. It is CJ Graham. And I appreciate the offer, but no, you don't got to send me one. I'll have an opportunity to meet Kane Hodder. But yeah, Friday the 13th, man. I love Friday the 13th. But yeah, some good comments, questions there. I appreciate all the interactions here. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the offensive line. Listen, the Chiefs have all the depth, I feel like, this year at wide receiver, tight end, running back. Patrick Mahomes has every reason to thrive and succeed. Pass blocking has to be there this year, and I do think it will be better. I do. So we'll see how that goes for the Chiefs this season. Guys, we're going to take a quick time out here and talk about my friends over at SeatGeek. SeatGeek is where I go to for my ticketing needs, whether it's sports, concerts, any event that is available on SeatGeek. That is where I get my tickets. The nice part about SeatGeek is when you go through an event and look at the ticket prices, if there's a red dot, that means it is overpriced for that ticket. If there's a green dot, that means you're paying a great price for that ticket. SeatGeek keeps it nice and honest, and on top of that, if you're a new SeatGeek customer, you can put in my promo code FARZINE and save $20 off your first purchase from SeatGeek. Go to SeatGeek.com, pick your tickets, and new customers at checkout can put in my promo code FARZINE for $20 off their first order from SeatGeek. All right, welcome back into the Chief Zone podcast. Farzin Vasugian here with you, and we have a very special guest joining us right now on the Chief Zone podcast. She is the executive director for the Duran Cherry Foundation. I've gotten to know the people from the Duran Cherry Foundation. Of course, we've had Duran on this podcast a couple of times, and we're honored to have on Erin Quador from the Duran Cherry Foundation. Erin, thank you for taking the time to join us. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I know you celebrated a birthday recently, and I did as well. Us May people have gotta stick together.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think it could have been a better month for us to celebrate birthdays.
Yes.
It's been fantastic.
Yes, that is good indeed. A lot of things going on with you guys over at the Duran Cherry Foundation. The first thing I want to get into is you guys are teaming up with Neil Smith's foundation, the Third and Long Foundation, where it's the Derek Thomas and the Neil Smith Foundation, and you guys are teaming up with them for a very special raffle here. It is the ultimate ride. You guys are raffling off the Mercedes vehicle that Derek Thomas drove. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine having a piece of history? Not only that, but we figured it was perfect timing to honor Derek Thomas. This is the 25th year anniversary of his passing. And so, I mean, a Mercedes, his Mercedes. And the Mercedes, one little fun fact is the Mercedes still has the owner's manual and it's autographed by Derek Thomas. So,
perfect.
I mean, who wouldn't want this piece of history? So, yeah, absolutely.
So we have it on the screen right there. There is the QR code. So if you're watching on your computer or on your smart TV, just point your phone to the screen. You can scan it. If you're watching on your smartphone device, take a screenshot of what you are seeing right now, and then on your album, your photo album, whatever it is you got to go to, just go back to what you took a screenshot of and just put a finger over the QR code for a few seconds, and it'll open up. And right there, that is where you can purchase the raffle tickets there. And it says right there, starting at $100. What do the prices go up to?
Yeah, so really quick too, we have a website. The website's www.dtscar.com. So for those who you might need a little bit of extra help with getting logged in, dtscar.com. And so that link will take you into the raffle tickets. For $100, you get 2 entries. For $500, you get 25 entries, and for $1,000, you get 60 entries. So those are the tiers that we have set, but $100 and a chance, two chances to be able to win his Mercedes. So all of the details are in that website and that QR code, and it'll tell you everything that you need to know.
You said it was 60 entries for $1,000.
$1,000.
Okay,
Yep.
I like my odds with 60 entries for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who wouldn't?
This is really cool though. And obviously, Duran, Cherry, and Neil Smith, they both had an opportunity to play with Derek Thomas. How did this idea come about? I know you mentioned that this is the 25th year anniversary of his passing, but how did the idea come up to be able to raffle this Mercedes?
Yeah, absolutely. The owner of the car, very generous gentleman who supports Third and Long. And then we also work with Third and Long. We participate in their turkey giveaway during Thanksgiving. We always think about hashtag stronger together. So when this discussion of Derek's car and kind of what both foundations are doing in the Kansas City community, they reached out to us and said, "Hey, we have this opportunity to give this piece of history to, probably a diehard Chiefs fan, right? Or maybe a Mercedes fan. But in either way, I mean, the funds that are being raised through this raffle and this opportunity is going to support both of these amazing foundations. And again, we love working together. And so they reached out and said, "Hey, would you like to help promote and be a part of this and share this piece of history?" And obviously, Duran and I said it's a no-brainer. I mean, we would love to partner with them, and it just gives both foundations a way to be able to give back and to do more in Kansas City.
Yeah, and you guys have been doing so many things, so many events, and another big event that you guys have coming up, and this is going to be early during the football season. I got a chance to go to this last year for the first time, and it was a treat. It was really cool to go to the Celebrity Tailgate, and you guys are doing it this year on September the 27th, and that is followed by the Celebrity Golf Tournament. For those who may not be familiar with the tailgate and the golf tournament, explain as to, I mean, the golf tournament certainly self-explanatory, but what does all of that entail? And if someone wants to attend, how can they do that?
Absolutely. We're going on our 33rd year, which is just absolutely fantastic. We've had some sponsors that have been with us from the very beginning. If you love to golf, 2 days of fantastic golf weather, normally around that time of year. So basically you become a sponsor, right? If you'd like to golf, we do have a lot of our Chiefs ambassadors, Royals ambassadors come out. You get to play golf, around a golf with the ambassadors, and it's a fantastic time. So we definitely have our sponsorships that is listed on our website and is shared on our social media. So there's a few different ways that you can sponsor, whether that be, play in a team or sponsor a hole or sponsor a drink cart. So there's tons of opportunities. We also look for volunteers for those events. We can't hold those large events without our volunteers. So, and then our celebrity tailgate, that's prior to our golf tournament. That kind of gets us kicked off and ready to raise some funds for Kansas City. So Celebrity Tailgate is a night where we set up Duran's Warehouse, balloons, music, DJ. We have the Nigro Brothers come in, large auction, silent and live auction, all you can drink, all you can eat, and we just have a fantastic time. We all get together for the common cause of helping Kansas City and do what we can can. And so it's a fantastic weekend into the golf week. And so there's a lot of different ways that'll be shown on our website of ways you can get involved, whether that's being a sponsor or volunteer.
So you get to play golf with some big name people, and a couple days before that, you get to hang out and with some other big names as well. Can't beat
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And I know you were amazed by the Taylor Swift guitar, and now I feel like we're gonna have to, bring it even bigger this year. So yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I told Duran this because he held the because I filmed the whole thing and I uploaded it online to give people a taste of what that event is like. And obviously everyone loves Taylor Swift, right? I mean, no one hates her, nobody.
No.
But the Swifties, I mean, you know how they are. They were evaluating the type of guitar, the signature, and I think there were also some Swifties that were ready to fight Duran for that guitar because he was the one holding it in the
Oh,
video as
absolutely.
they
Yeah.
were getting ready to auction that. I want to say it went for about 7,500 or 8,500, somewhere around that.
I
So
think we were at 8 grand.
yeah,
Yep.
that was
8,000.
certainly one of the bigger giveaways, or not giveaways, auction items that night. It really is a treat because I've told you this, I've told Ron this. I've never been to an auction before, and I was there with a couple of friends, and we saw some folks dressed up, in a suit with cowboy hats, and they have the exact same cowboy hats and suits, and I was like, who are these people? And then they were the auctioneers. They're part of the
Yeah.
auction, and it's the whole like, a hundred, 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 200, 200, 200. I can't do it at all. It's one thing when you see it in like movies or shows. It's a whole different ball game when you see it in person.
Absolutely. And they do a fantastic job for us. So, they know the importance of raising those monetary funds. Obviously all of those funds stay in Kansas City. And so they know the importance. We work really hard year round to gather auction items and live and silent. So that's another way if anybody has any donations that they'd like to provide. We're always looking for ways to raise funds, and our silent and our live auction are two incredible ways for us to do that. So but yeah, I mean, they come in and they know the importance of the items that we have and the money that we raise, and so they've been fantastic for us.
Yeah, and just to give people an idea of some of the items that are available at the auction, I don't remember everything because there was a lot. I want to say one of them was this big golf trip to one of the biggest golf courses. You get to go with Duran, and you get to bring, I think, 4 or 5 of your buddies. There was a guy right next to me who was going back and forth with someone else across the room for this. The guy, it's always intense when the guy next to you is in a bidding war with someone. There are also, signed memorabilia by current and former Chiefs players. And obviously with Duran's connection, he's able to get that. So it's always great when guys like Patrick Mahomes, George Karlaftis, Derek Johnson, again, current and former players who are always willing to help out the foundation in ways like that. But just to give people an idea, those are the kinds of things you can expect at this auction.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have baskets, wine baskets, experiences around Kansas City. So there's really I say there's something for everyone, whether you're looking for a big autographed item or if you're looking for maybe a massage and like a relaxation basket or things like that. Every dollar counts with our foundation and what we can do in Kansas City. So there's truly something for everybody.
We obviously mentioned the Derek Thomas raffle you guys are doing, teaming up with the Third and Long Foundation. We of course went over the two big events that the Duran Cherry Foundation has every year, and then you guys have several other events that go on throughout the year. I know you guys had a bingo event recently, also a clothing drive. I know you alluded to the turkey drive very close to Thanksgiving. What other events do you guys have going on for the summer or the fall coming up that people can expect?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one that we feel is near and dear to our heart, we started last year, and thanks to Target, we have an amazing partnership with them. We will be doing our teacher giveaway again this year. So school supplies, we have 3 pallets, full pallets of school supplies ready to go. And so that'll be coming up here soon. If you follow us on social media and our website, we ask for our communities help, nominate a teacher, nominate a principal, nominate a counselor, a social worker that's done fantastic work for your kiddos or someone that you know. We love to bring them in. Last year, we had about 70 teachers that got to come in and do a private shopping experience for school supplies. Our teachers, Duran has always said that teachers are very near and dear to his heart, and to be able to support them. There's a lot of giveaways for children and school supplies in that fashion, but to be able to give back directly to our teachers who often spend their own funds. So that's what we do with those school supplies. We're working on hopefully partnering with IKEA again to be able to give some gift cards away. So that one last year was fantastic, and we know that we're able to do that again this year, and so we're very thankful for our partners for that. So we have that event. We have tailgate and golf, and then one that we're super excited about, that we'll start promoting here soon, is we are going to do a Chiefs watch party up at McCormick and Weston. So we'll sell
Okay.
tickets to come into that event. Again, that's going to be an all you can eat, all you can drink event with McCormick up there. We'll have some Chiefs ambassadors. I mean, an away game. We'll choose an away game to make sure anybody that wants to be able to come can come out. We'll sell tickets to the event. All the proceeds will go back to Kansas City charities. And then how cool to spend an away game up at McCormick and Weston. Beautiful scenery, with some Chiefs ambassadors, and watch our Chiefs play. So that's going to be coming up here in this next Chiefs schedule as well.
Okay, perfect. A lot of great stuff on the docket for you guys. So, if you guys want to check out any of that stuff, more additional details, what's the website? Where can people go?
Yeah, it's www.durancherryfoundation.org.
Okay, perfect. Very simple, easy to remember. DuranCherryFoundation.org. Erin, before you go, obviously, we did team up recently, giving away a signed football by Chiefs Hall of Famer Duran Cherry, and that went pretty well. A lot of people were pretty excited about it. People love the giveaways, and of course, we've done a lot over the last, 2-3 years. We've been doing a lot of those, and a lot of you guys were pretty excited for that signed football giveaway. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I say we do it again. I
Okay.
say let's do it again. I love teaming up, and again, hashtag stronger together. So I say we team up, and hopefully one lucky fan will win that football. Those are some nice footballs. Those
Okay,
are
perfect.
fantastic. So
So
yeah.
we are going to do it again. It will be on Instagram, and I'll address some of the comments because I know a lot of people are asking, what about Facebook? Because that's where a majority of my followers are, and I'll get to that in a moment. But as far as Instagram goes, it's going to be very similar. Instead of my podcast page, we're just going to keep it to mine and the Duran Cherry Foundation. So all you have to do is follow those two accounts on Instagram, and we'll have the details on that specific post coming up. So keep your eye on that. And that'll be in just a couple of minutes, as soon as this podcast is over. And then in the comments, you tag 3 people, and then you got to share it to your story. Simple as that. And as far as the Facebook thing goes, I will say this, and I've said this before. Facebook does have a lot of restrictions, but there are ways to work around it. It's just not as easy. But we will do a signed football giveaway from Duran Cherry at some point later in the summer. So don't worry, we're not forgetting about people on Facebook. We will have that in the very near future. So be patient. There will be one on Facebook. It's just not as easy to do it on there, but we will have it. For now, this one will be on Instagram. Erin, I know we covered a lot right there. Obviously, a lot of great events. I feel like there's so many. It's possible. Maybe there's something that wasn't brought up, but so many things. Like I said, and that's what I love about the foundation. It's not just geared to one specific category. You and Duran and the volunteers do so many great things for so many different organizations. Is there anything else that you wanted to put out there about the Duran Cherry Foundation?
Yeah, I'll say if you're looking to get involved, we have multiple charities that we support, first responders, kids with cancer, homeless pets. There's a wide variety. I feel like we cover a lot of different charities in Kansas City, and we're looking to expand. So if you're looking to give back, we are always looking for volunteers. Obviously, we're always looking for new business partners, community sponsors. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We would love to set up a time to come out and chat with anybody that's looking to become a sponsor. And we also have a fantastic volunteer coordinator that would love to get some more hands involved in some of these large events.
Okay, a lot of stuff right there. Of course, we mentioned the celebrity tailgate. That'll take place later this year. That'll be on the 27th. And shortly after that, the celebrity golf tournament on the 29th and the 30th. And one last time, if anyone wants in on the Derek Thomas Mercedes raffle, there it is. It'll be going all the way until October. So you still have some time, several months left until then. So the QR code is right there. And Erin, if you would please one last time, what is the website for that?
Yeah, it's dtscar.com.
Okay, perfect. A lot of great stuff right there. Erin, thank you so much for joining us here on the Chiefs Zone podcast, and we'll keep in touch. We'll do this again.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to take a quick break here and spend a moment to talk about my friends over at Fathead. Fathead has the best life-size wall graphics of your favorite players and team logos and has been going strong for almost 2 decades. Maybe you're looking to spice up your man cave where you watch all of your sports. Perhaps you want to add to your room where you have all of your sports memorabilia. You can get something that looks cool for your kid's bedroom. Or maybe you're a Swiftie and you want Taylor Swift's boyfriend as part of your celebrity wall. Fathead is the place to go, and if you're a Chiefs fan, you can get fatheads of your favorite current and former Chiefs players such as Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tony Gonzalez, Derek Thomas, and more. For those of you watching on the live stream, look for my exclusive Fathead link in the comments right now. And for those listening to the audio version, look for my exclusive Fathead link in the podcast description. When you use my link, you will get free standard US shipping when you place an order on Fathead. Use my exclusive Fathead link, get yourself some Chiefs Fathead swag, and take advantage of free shipping in the United States. All right, wrapping things up here on the Chiefs Zone podcast. Yeah, had my mic muted there for a moment, so I apologize for that. A couple of non-Chief stuff I want to hit on before we get out of here, and I appreciate everyone who's been tuning in, whether it's just for a few minutes or if you've been watching since the live stream got underway here. I want to respond to some of the big topics around the NFL here. So there's a big deal going around with the Cleveland Browns and their OTAs and mandatory mini camp. By the way, why do we have so many different names for practices? Why? We have rookie mini camp and OTAs and mandatory mini camp. Like, come on, just rookie practice. Let's call it that. And then actual, practice without pads. I don't know why we got to get fancy with off-season team activities or organized team activities, whatever it's called. And then mandatory mini camp. Come on. There's hardly a difference between mandatory mini camp and OTAs. OTAs are just voluntary. That's it. Mandatory mini camp is obviously they're basically mandatory OTAs. That's what it turns into. But neither here nor there. The point is, the Cleveland Browns, they've been getting a lot of talk lately as people are reacting to Dillon Gabriel getting first team reps with the Browns offense. And it's a big deal because Shedeur Sanders is getting second team reps. Folks, it's June 7th. Or, I'm sorry, June the 11th. There's nothing to freak out about right now. And listen, even in training camp, it's probably going to be Dillon Gabriel with the 1s and Shedeur Sanders with the 2s. That's okay. Gabriel was drafted before Sanders. For whatever reason, that's just what ended up happening. But it's June the 11th. Let's not make a big deal over who's getting first team and second team reps. Calm down a little bit here. More rookie talk here as the Bengals, they have drama. Shocker, the Bengals have drama. Who knew? This time it's with their rookie defensive end, Shamar Stewart. Defensive end, defensive tackle. I don't know exactly what he's going to be on that defense, but he's a rookie defensive lineman. I think he's a defensive end. He has not signed. He's one of 4 first-round draft picks to not sign his rookie deal. And he's making a big deal about some language in his contract. I guess, an injury clause, all of these things that he's making a big deal of, he and his agent. He spoke to the media Tuesday. Oh boy, this guy held no punches back. He was saying, this is their contract, not mine. Oof, okay. And then he's saying that the Bengals, quote, care more about winning arguments than games. Wow. I have never heard a player say that before. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen with this whole situation. Albert Breer says it's going to go over to training camp. That would be wild. I don't think in this new CBA we've seen a rookie contract dispute go into training camp. Listen, you have Trey Hendrickson, who has some serious issues with the Bengals right now, to the point where this dude, Trey Hendrickson, showed up to Bengals practice just to talk to the media. And I thought, no, that's not the only reason he's there. That was the only reason why he showed up, was to talk to the media and throw his team under the bus. The front office, that is, not the teammates. Oh boy, I've never seen this kind of drama with the team before. And Shamar Stewart, something he said, because he was talking about how, he feels like Trey Hendrickson, he's being treated unfairly also. Shamar Stewart said something funny. He said that other stars on this team are saying I'm doing the right thing. But he's not going to say names. Well, obviously that person you're talking about is Trey Hendrickson. I'm sure those two have communicated, whether it was in person and that one day that Trey Hendrickson was there, or, they can always exchange numbers or messages on DMs on Instagram, whatever. And if that's not the star you're talking about, who are the other options? It's either Burrow, Chase, or Higgins. Like, this team doesn't have that many stars. They're really putting their eggs in one basket with Burrow, Chase, and Higgins right now. I mean, it's not really. Those are three great players, don't get me wrong. But they had those three and Trey Hendrickson last year. They had the best QB statistically. They had the wide receiver with the triple crown, and they had the defensive player who led the league in sacks, and they still missed the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. Like, this is a very interesting team. When it comes to my predictions for the 2025 season, I'm not picking them to win the division. Those are three great players they have on offense, but those three players, unless they get you 50 a game, are not winning the NFC North. They're not surpassing Baltimore, unless Baltimore loses Lamar Jackson to an injury. It's not going to happen. You're not getting that ultimate goal of a Super Bowl with three players. And yeah, you beat Kansas City 3 times in the 2022 calendar year. That's nice. That was 3 years ago. This team has gotten worse and worse as the years go on. They lose the Super Bowl. Then they lose in the AFC title game. They missed the playoffs in 2023. Burrow missed half the season. This time Burrow played a whole season, and they had the same record and they missed the playoffs. So this is not a team that's making progress the last couple of years. They're just not. I mean, that Super Bowl appearance against the Rams, yeah, that was a great season, but I guess your star-studded players all did better this past year, and you still missed the playoffs. So I don't know what's going to happen with that team and these contract situations, but oh boy, it's not good. I thought the Chris Jones thing was bad because he threatened to on Twitter to hold out until week 8. That's what he said in a response to someone. And then Chris Jones showed up to that week 1 game in his suite. Part of it was because he wanted to see the banner, I guess. And I guess he wanted to see his team. But he never once, Chris Jones never once threw his team under the bus. Was there conflict? Absolutely. There was conflict between Chris Jones and the Chiefs. And that because it bled over to week 1. So of course there was conflict. But they figured it out pretty damn quickly. Oh, and as far as I recall, I think the Chiefs won the Super Bowl that year. And then they got Chris Jones to a long-term deal. So it all worked out in the long run here. I mean, the Bengals need Trey Hendrickson. They need Shamar Stewart. These are supposed to be your top two edge rushers this year. And they're both pissed off. You just let go of the linebacker, Jermaine. This team has no one on defense that's worth a damn. I mean, they were terrible last year. You can't be much worse than last year unless Trey Hendrickson is really 2 feet out the door and does not want anything to do with the Bengals. I mean, this team is in serious trouble. They better start sweeten up the pot and pay these guys what they're asking, because they need those two really damn badly. You just need an average defense if you're Cincinnati. Doesn't have to be the best. You just need average. And Joe Burrow and company will do the rest. This is the last thing I wanted to cover here. There's a TikTok trend. It's obviously a great start to this topic here. The TikTok trend, I guess these are women who came up with this. They're trying to get their husbands and their boyfriends to call one of their homies, their buddies, their boys, just call them on the phone and say that they just want to wish them good night. That's the trend. And so if one of my friends called me, right about now and said, "Hey, Farzine, I just want to wish you a good night," I'd be like, "Dude, what the hell is wrong with you?" I'd be genuinely concerned. I'd be like, "Are you okay?" That's a little weird. If I called any of my friends and said this, I would like to imagine that they would question, why am I doing that? Because that would be out of character for anyone to do. Who calls someone just to say good night? It's almost like going into your college dorm room and you wake up your roommate after you come in from the bars, hitting on some ladies and whatnot at midnight. You wake up your roommate, you're like, "Hey, Steve, I just want to let you know I'm going to bed." So that's a TikTok trend. But anyway, well, what's my point with this? Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys took part in this trend. He called his head coach, Brian Schottenheimer. He goes, "Hey, coach, what's up?" And Brian's like, "Yo, what's up, dude?" He goes, "I just want to let you know, I just want to wish you a good night." And then Brian was like, "Okay, you good? Is everything all right?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And Brian was like, "Okay, hey, listen, man, we know there's this contract conflict here, but we need you. It's gonna get worked out and all. Don't worry about it. We're all on the same team." I'm like, man, Brian Schottenheimer really took that conversation or into something different. This was just a TikTok prank by Micah Parsons. And Brian Schottenheimer decided, hey, I'll turn this into a motivational phone conversation right now. So, that is a TikTok trend. Call your buddies and tell them that you wish them good night. That's such a weird trend, but I guess that's what Micah Parsons did it. So if an NFL player is doing it, why not non-NFL players? Why not? Let's make it happen. That's such a weird trend. I'm going to actually look up some of these just to see the reactions, because the idea is funny, but I'm curious to know what the reactions are from some people about this. But I don't know what the hashtag is, but I'll look it up in a moment here. But there it is. Yeah, look it up for yourself if you are so inclined to do so. Thank you all for watching this episode of the Chief Zone podcast, watching, listening, whatever it is you guys did. For all of you watching live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, thank you guys so much. Please subscribe to the Chief Zone YouTube channel at the Chief Zone on YouTube. Also, make sure you're following me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, Threads, wherever you can catch me. Make sure you're following, share all the content. Appreciate you guys doing that. I will be back next week. We will react to Chiefs mini camp. Training camp dates will likely be announced by then, and any other Chiefs news that comes up at the time. Until then, I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Peace out.